Donald Trump has declared that we have peace in the Middle East, or we certainly are right at the threshold. All we need to do is disarm Hamas, and we will have peace in the Middle East like we have never seen before. So I just wanted to take a look at the neighborhood and see what exactly has been going on. This story just broke. Hezbollah gains power. Odd. 40,000 terrorists, 20,000 rockets and missiles. Strange. How did that happen? U.S. Ambassador to Turkey, Thomas Barrack, calls Lebanon a failed state. No kidding. Really? Oh, Lebanon is a failed state? Oh my God. Warns Hezbollah still has tens of thousands of terrorists and tens of thousands of rockets and missiles. That's strange. Remember when Israel had its famous beeper operation and completely had Hezbollah crippled and could have practically driven tanks all the way through Lebanon and taken over the entire country? Remember that? Remember that? Now, why didn't Israel do that? Why didn't Israel completely cripple Lebanon and kill Hezbollah and take over the entire country? Why didn't they do that? Could it have been our greatest ally, the United States, that ran in? Because I hear from everyone how the United States is constantly saving Israel. I don't recall. Was that it? Was that what happened? Did the United States save Israel from a practically crippled Hezbollah? Was that it? Well, let's read this article. Speaking at a conference in Bahrain, right, in the Gulf, where that really has the power in the Middle East and really has the power over the United States, unlike Israel, said the terror group has 40,000 terrorists and tens of thousands of rockets and missiles. Yeah, Lebanon's a failed state, no central bank, no electricity. We know. Hey, Tom. His name is Tom, right? Thomas Barrack. Yeah, Tom, we know. We know that Lebanon has failed. Lebanon has failed, and the Americans saved Hezbollah from Israel, like they do every single time. Oh, but here's the thing. Here is, of course, America and their schemes with the Gulf. Of course, here it is. He also noted that Gulf states, where is it? Here we go. He noted that Gulf states are willing to invest up to $10 billion in southern Lebanon. Of course, isn't that just it? Right? If Hezbollah disarms and the country distances itself from Iranian influence. That's just it. America with their investment schemes, again, right? They did this in Gaza in 2005, and that in 18 short years later gave us October 7th. And they want to do the same thing in Lebanon. Oh, Lebanon, you're not strong enough to really give Israel a problem? Don't worry, we'll invest $10 billion into Lebanon, and then you can really become a problem for Israel. Because we know what comes after this, by the way. It's going to be Sherman tanks and maybe F-35s. Who knows? Who knows? Another one of America's schemes to keep Israel weak and dependent on the United States. Because as I've said, we all remember the Hezbollah beeper operation. We had Hezbollah demolished on its knees. Israel could have done anything in Lebanon, and America said, whoa, boys, you have to stop now. You have to stop now. We need peace. We need peace. But guess what? Even Tom Barrack tells us, oh, actually, they have tens of thousands of terrorists and tens of thousands of rockets and missiles. Oh, oops. Let's see. Barrack also said that the attempt to force Hezbollah to disarm may ignite internal discord in Lebanon. Really? Again, but we're playing this game again. No, Lebanon is not Hezbollah. Lebanon is being held hostage by Hezbollah. Lebanon are the real victims, don't you know? Just like Gaza, the Gazans are the real victims. It's Hamas that's the problem, don't you know? The IRGC is the real problem. It's not Iran, don't you know? Are you guys starting to catch on to this little game? You're starting to catch on to this little game, the little game that they play with us? Yeah, we'll just get rid of this one group over here and then we'll have peace. Oh, and in the meantime, the America and their buddies in the Gulf will invest tens of billions of dollars to make those countries rich and powerful and give them real armies. So then when they advance on Israel, yeah, it's going to be a real army and not like a ragtag terror group. Exciting. However, he stressed that the Gulf states will not agree to invest in Lebanon so long as Hezbollah holds weapons. Oh, but here it is. Most of the investments would be focused on southern Lebanon, including an industrial zone and a tourist site. Of course. Because don't you know that's all the Arabs really want? Industrial zones and tourist sites. God, this is what we've been missing all along. My God, the people of Lebanon, the Arabs in Lebanon, they just don't have employment opportunities and vacation spots. Oh my God. Thank God the Americans are coming in to solve the problems of the Middle East. Oh my God. Wow, what a relief. What a relief. That's amazing. Wow. Guys, listen. You know what? You know what we're going to do in Gaza? Okay, listen. This is how we avoid the next October 7th. You ready? We're going to give the Gazans work permits into Israel, and then they'll have employment opportunities, and then they won't go be at war with us. Isn't that a good idea? Wait, what's that? Israel did that before October 7th already? And they still had a massacre? Oh, that's awkward. Oh dear. So wait, it turns out that employment opportunities for Arabs are not going to dissuade them from committing terrorism against Israel and Jews? Oh my God. Oh my. Someone should tell Tom. Tom. I think your plan might have a little tiny flaw in it. So now let's look at the remember, like I said, Israel had Hezbollah completely demolished and Lebanon totally on the ropes. But let's just check out. We'll go back into the Wayback Machine here. Right? We'll check out and see what's the story here. Here, 2024 Israel-Lebanon ceasefire agreement. On November 27, 2024, a ceasefire agreement was signed by Israel, Lebanon, and 5 mediating countries, including the United States. So let's see if we could pull anything interesting from here. Right, Hezbollah attacked Israel on October 8th. Of course, sure. Wasn't Hezbollah. It was Lebanon. It was Lebanon attacked Israel, right? Let's see. Now, interesting, right? Israel attacked on October 1st, and on November 27th, less than 2 months later, the United States said, whoa, you have to stop. The agreement mandates a 60-day halt to hostilities. Israel must withdraw. If one thing is for certain, Israel must withdraw, because Israel having an advantage over its enemies, that is unacceptable. We cannot accept this. Yes, America is Israel's ally, supposedly, but America having strong allies is not in its national interest. So, this is what I've heard. This is what I've been told. It is not in America's interest for their allies to be stronger than their enemies. I don't get it, but this is what I've been told. Israel must withdraw. Israel must withdraw. That no matter what, if the United States is involved, rest assured that Israel will be withdrawing. Always. America will never get involved with anything that involves Israel that doesn't include Israel withdrawing. Every single time. Literally every single time. 5,000 Lebanese troops deployed to ensure compliance. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Israel must withdraw. That's the story. Amos Hochstein. Yeah, of course. Hezbollah's Secretary General approved the deal. So understand, America gets involved and Hezbollah to live another day. That's it. America, here's the headline. America runs in to save Hezbollah. That's all you need to know. And now enough time has passed that according to America, Hezbollah poses an imminent danger to Israel. Oh gee. And guess what? Israel's going to fight Hezbollah again, and before that they're defeated, America will run in and say, oh, no, we need a ceasefire. We need a ceasefire, and Israel must withdraw. Israel must withdraw. That's the way it has to be. Of course. Yes. Are you starting to understand the picture here with us and quote-unquote our greatest ally? Well, you know, let's take a look at another one of our enemies that we really had on the ropes also. Let's take a look. Fueled by China, Iran quietly rearming to rebuild missile arsenal. And when was this? 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Again, another instance where Israel had Iran on the ropes. America runs in to save the Iranians. And yet, what do I hear all day long? America saves Israel. America saves Israel. Is that what's going on here? Is that what's going on here? Despite renewed sanctions, Tehran accelerates imports of key rocket fuel component from China, aiming to restore capacity to produce 500 missiles a month. 500 missiles a month. Right. And by the way, understand, China arms Iran because we are aligned with the United States. That is why. That's why. The Chinese have no problem with Israel. They have a big problem with the United States. And Israel is a proxy of the United States. And what we've seen is that America is a crappy ally to Israel. So not only does America stop us from actually defeating our enemies by saving them time and time again, Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran. America saved each of them. America saved each of those entities from Israel. So not only that, but because of America, China arms the Iranians. So we literally have the worst of both worlds here. Literally. If we told America to leave, Hamas would be finished. Finished. Hezbollah would be finished. And Iran? You know what? Iran's a big country. But odds are, well, here's the other thing with Iran. Understand, like I said, Iran is not Hezbollah and Hamas. They're nothing. They're barely anything. Israel could wipe them off the planet easily, as we've seen. But understand, if Israel was not aligned with the United States, China would have no incentive to give Iran what it gives them. Zero. People say, well, Iran sells China oil. Who else will Iran sell it to? They can't sell it to the United States. Iran is basically the only other massive customer that could potentially buy Iranian oil. So don't tell me, oh, well, China needs Iran. No, China doesn't need Iran. Iran needs China. Okay. Now let's just go to this. I found this video. It might be interesting to watch. Donald Trump. This was, when was this? June, yeah. This was June. This was pretty much towards the end of that 12-day war with Iran. Let's watch this video. It's about 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Let's watch this video here.
US President Donald Trump says Israel and Iran have both violated a ceasefire hours after it came into effect. Israel has accused Iran of firing missiles towards the country, which Iran's military chief denies.
Yeah, they deny. Iran denied it. Where did the missiles come from? I don't know. What? There's missiles headed towards Tel Aviv? I don't know where they came from. Okay. The Arabs are terrible liars, by the way. Okay. Let's watch more of this.
Trump has warned Israel against retaliatory attacks, saying it would violate the agreement. And in just the past hour, he's spoken by phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. US media are reporting that Netanyahu told Trump he cannot cancel an attack on Iran. Well, Phil Lavelle is following developments from Washington, D.C.
President Donald Trump wasn't just angry, he was furious as he spoke to journalists as he left the White House on his way to the NATO summit in the Netherlands. He was speaking about the ceasefire that he managed to broker, the ceasefire that he publicly announced on social media at 1 o'clock in the morning, just hours before it was apparently violated. He said he was angry with both Israel and Iran, but he was particularly angry with Israel. Here's what he had to say.
Of course. He was particularly angry with Israel. Of course. Iran targets Israeli civilians exclusively. Israel attacks Iranian military sites and ballistic missile launchers that are about to shoot missiles on Israeli civilians. And who is Donald Trump and the Americans upset with? Israel. Of course. And he was particularly upset that Israel was nearing completely demolishing Iran's military. Of course.
I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload.
They didn't have to unload. I was in Israel on that day. There were a number of Israeli civilians that were killed by Iranian rockets on that day. Israel didn't have to unload. Without me completely losing my composure here, Donald Trump and America, because America picked this man to be their president, Donald Trump and the Americans are no ally of Israel. None. At best, they are, you know what? This is basically what America's interested in. Mediating. That's it. Because being an ally means, okay, for those of you at home that are not familiar with what being an ally means, it basically means that I am allied with a country and I want that country to be strong and as dominant as possible. That's what being an ally is. America is not interested in that for Israel. They have no interest, zero, in Israel being as strong and as dominant as possible. Clearly. Because understand, Israel took out all of Iran's air defenses that they have since rebuilt. Israel could have done anything to Iran, taken them off the map militarily. And America ran in to save Iran. The same way they did Hamas, the same way they did Hezbollah. What has happened over the last 2 years cannot be disputed. It is obvious in all of these cases. I'll let Trump continue to blather on. We'll just listen to whatever inanities come out of his big fat mouth. But understand, he was particularly upset with Israel because Israel basically said, we have to take out the Iranian menace. Because that's what they are. That's exactly what they are. Israel has no interest in engaging with Iran. None. They've done nothing aggressive towards Iran. What is Iran doing? Getting the kind of chemicals required in order to produce 500 ballistic missiles to shoot into Israel. And yet the Americans, they just look at both Israel and Iran. Oh, they're just two random players. That's it. They don't look at Israel as an ally. They don't look at Israel as a country that basically says, we're not aggressing against Iran. No. Donald Trump says, no, you're exactly the same as Iran is.
I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong, but in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot, and now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere.
It was only one rocket. You should take. Listen, you know what? Honestly, I'm not even gonna play this fool anymore. He's just such a slovenly, low IQ scumbag. I'm sorry. People are not going to like me when I say that. I don't really care. Look at his face. This guy looks like a moron. Listen. Oh, it was only one ballistic missile, and it landed nowhere. What's the problem? You know what? We know Iran is developing ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, that are not meant for Israel, because to go outside of the continent is meant for Europe and the United States. You know what? Maybe if some of those missiles land in the United States, Donald Trump can show us, hey, it's only one missile. What's the big deal? It didn't land anywhere. So what is the point of me saying all of this? What is the point of me going through all of this? And it's very simple. It's to say that America is no ally of Israel whatsoever. None. None. You can say, okay, maybe they provide some weapons to Israel. Yeah, okay, maybe. Sure. Lots of countries can provide weapons. Lots of countries can manufacture weapons. China. Lots of countries. India. Other countries. But just notice, again, America steps in every single time to save our enemies. And what do our enemies do when they get this little break? They rearm. Like Hamas is doing now, like Hezbollah has done, like Iran is doing now. With America, we can never have victory. Never. America will never, ever allow us to have victory over our enemies. It's simple as that. And you know, as we've seen, it doesn't matter if it was the Democrat Joe Biden, and now it doesn't matter that it's the Republican Donald Trump. And the next one that comes in, Republican J.D. Vance, will be exactly the same. So everyone says, oh, it's a Democrat, it's a Republican, we'll wait 4 years, we'll wait whatever. It's not going to make any bit of difference. It's not going to matter at all. There is only one way for us to have victory and to build the kind of country that we want. That encompasses Gaza and the West Bank and the Sinai and southern Lebanon, southern Syria, and to put Iran on their knees where they belong. And that can only happen when we show the Americans the door. America doesn't want to be an ally of ours. That's obvious. No problem. You know what? I would venture to guess that there are other countries that do want to be an ally of Israel. Again, maybe it's China, maybe it's India, maybe it's Russia. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But what I do know is with the United States, we will never have greater Israel. We will never have a strong Israel that is able to completely not just neutralize, but wipe out our enemies. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis are another great example. Same thing. America will repeatedly step in and save our enemies, and we cannot continue in this manner. This is not Israel first. Israel first means America must go. Because with America here, victory is simply impossible.